I think it started for me a couple of years ago in kind of stumbling across a podcast that you were on that I followed. And there was something very resonant about what you were saying that rang very authentic for me. And I really appreciated, again, there's just a truthfulness to it that I wanted to hear more and I wanted to know more. So then I started following your podcast, and I just found it so resourceful. And it, again, like the word resonant comes up because I felt like for the first time I was hearing something that spoke to me like really deep down, like on a cellular level, that gave me some functional tools and made me feel so much ease and a lot of potential for my own healing. I think about a sense of settling into my own skin in a way that feels sustainable and consistent. I'm not there yet, but I feel that for the first time, I'm more accepting of myself and more loving and more aware, even if at the moment it's of some of the choices that I'm making that aren't serving me. I'm able to hold those with a lot more space than I could even a couple of years ago, which gives me the belief that I can really create long-term shifts in how I want to exist in my life, in my body, and show up for myself on all levels. That's been huge for me. Mhm. For me, a lot around the seasonal living is I just think there's just so much wisdom within that and so much grace, about what's actually happening. So that's been huge. That's some of the first time I've even really heard about that framed in that way that makes it really accessible for like living in this world right now, not just being on like a retreat somewhere that makes it like, oh yeah, totally, I can do this. And then again, all the work around shame, that has been so huge. And for me, some of the components around how this shows up in your physical body, those first modules, they took me a long time to work through because, again, it was really stuff that I was hearing for the first time and relearning some patterns and some beliefs, some held beliefs that weren't serving me. So I think the opportunity to take some tools to disassemble some of those conditioned patterns has been also really, really huge. So I think, again, the work around how to utilize shame as a tool and some of the seasonal living has been huge for me. Really, that like the opportunity to have these conversations that are just not had, and to learn about these things, because I do think that empowerment piece about when you learn these tools and when you learn these skills and you change the reframe that inner conversation about what's wrong with me versus, how can I um lift up these things that I viewed as flaws. Like I just think it's so relevant to just getting through what's happening around us right now. There's many more, but if I had to pick a couple, that's where I'd sit right now. Well, I mean, I was that person for a long time. I'm not a social media person, so I don't follow necessarily some of the Facebook or Instagram work. So for me, it was really so much coming in on that podcast level. And I really think like trusting your intuition. There was something that stumbled me into, this teaching and this relationship with you, Devin. And I think if you're feeling that pull and that call to want to learn more or do more, that just to really follow that. There's lots of different ways to kind of step in, but I think taking that first step in service of yourself is really one of the best things you could offer yourself. So not to really hesitate and trust that intuition.